Okay, so it is morning. I'm back as promised. And I've still got 15 minutes before they open where I can go in and deliver this thing. It's only 7:15. And I'm parked out here in the truck lot and it is a mud hole. So I'm gonna try and maneuver around out here and get out of here without getting stuck. But I got a truck sitting over here to the left of me that wasn't here last night. I don't know what the hell's going on with them. They're just sitting in there. Gray guy's just sitting in there. He's kind of blocking the best dry route out of here. It kind of is pissing me off because there's just a guy sitting in there. So I don't know what the deal is. But, you know, I wish he'd move or something so I could get the hell out of here. But he's not moving. So I'm doing all my stuff. Checked the truck out, my pre-trip stuff. Did all that. I'm doing the inside stuff, which this morning is mostly getting the windows cleaned off. It rained a little bit last night, unfortunately. It made this even muddier. It was muddy to start with, now it's even worse. So I think I can back up and pull over kind of through at an angle. I wish that guy wasn't parked right there. So it's somebody that's got to be that way. It's got to be right where everybody else needs to go, and they just sit there in the middle of stuff. It's nerve-wracking. It's maddening. Okay, so I made coffee. Stayed at the Super 8. It was reasonably, wasn't unreasonably expensive. It was under $100, so. All right, so I'm gonna try to get out of here without sinking this in the mud. This lot is very, very muddy. But everybody else managed to get out of here this morning without getting stuck, so maybe I will too. If I'm careful and lucky, maybe. Trying to stay on the high ground in here. Oh boy, here we go. Will it come out or not? Don't know. Don't know. It's not really wanting to. I don't have that far to get out of here. Come on, truck. Come on, truck, you can do it. Okay, it's gonna be very muddy on the wheels of that trailer, which is bad. Be showing up with a muddy ass trailer. Oh well, I'll be showing up with the trailer anyway, instead of it stuck in the damn mud. Which, that was a real possibility, being stuck in the mud. Well, maybe I can run some of the mud off of it. It's about a mile up the road here, or 7/10 or whatever. It's not very far. Oh God, there's just mud everywhere. That's not good. They're liable to be pissed at me about that. I guess they can be pissed because I didn't have a choice. That was where I had to park. Oh crap. Oh well. All you can do is what you can do. You have to work with what you have to work with, and it rained and their lot was muddy, so yeah, oh well. Oh well. It's a pisser, but I can't take it to a car wash because it won't fit. So they're gonna have to deal with it, I guess. I'm sure it's not the first time they've gotten a trailer that's got mud on it, because this is East Texas and it rains here a lot and it's swampy, so you know, all of that combination makes for some muddy trailers, I'm sure. All right, so we're just about here. Just about. I hope they're open because it's still not 7:30 yet. Is this it? No, that's not it. It's up here. There it is. Seems like I've delivered here once, maybe. maybe twice. I think I delivered here once and to a chemical place once with some hazmat many years ago here in Carthage. All right. Well, the gate's open. That's a good sign. Go see where they want this. Seems to me like I can go all the way around this, pretty sure. Deliveries and shipping. All right. This is where I need to be. Ring bell for help. Alrighty, I'll do that. I'll get my paperwork ready here. Grown up in this country. I don't know what we are now. There was a time when America was pretty damn mature and kind of sexy. Now we're just confused, I think.
It's Dwight Yoakam and the Bakersfield Meet on Sirius XM.
Okay, I wanted to turn around here because I want you to see this stack of truck beds, because this is what I used to haul for these people. I had a 40-foot trailer and I would haul these stacks like this guy's got on here. That's a pain in the ass, by the way. A lot of work. I was a 50-year-old little old lady. Oh, and those are out. 54 actually. 55, something like that. Crawling around on those, tying them down. Freaking crazy, right? And I want, let's see, gotta find my address here. Try and get over here and get out of this guy's way, let him have the driveway. Here you go, dude. I want 23687. Okay, so I got my trailer delivered about half an hour ago. I got on down the road here. I have no idea what this town is because I haven't seen anything with its town name on it yet. I have no clue. Not a clue, not one. Anyway, we just came through some town. On Highway 96 and 7, so I just don't know what it's called. Still haven't seen anything with the town name on it. But I'm southbound on Highway 96 and heading toward Beaumont, Texas, which Rose City is really just Beaumont. It's just on the edge of Beaumont. And I don't really go into any city anyway. I just get on the interstate down there on the Interstate Service Road where the trailer company's at. This is interesting. Don't know why we're running 40 miles an hour in a 55 zone, but we are. There you have it. Huh. Huh. Usually don't have this problem in Texas. people are usually hauling ass around Texas. Maybe we're getting into a 4-lane area up here. I hope so, because I don't want to go all the way to Rose City at this speed. I'd rather not. Good, the slow person turned off. Yay. Nope, maybe not. Maybe the slow person didn't turn off. I'm going to slide over here. I guess that was a slow person, maybe. Somebody was slow. I still have no idea where I'm at. Not a clue. Except I'm on Highway 96. 18 miles north of San Augustine. There we go. Where that is, I don't know. I never did see that town name anywhere. Posted anywhere in the town. That's a little bizarre. So I am so far east, I'm almost in Louisiana. And over to the left of me, a couple miles or a few miles, is the Sabine River, which is the boundary between East Texas and West Louisiana. Oh, I see what they were getting after. They wanted to get up here before they ran out of extra lane. I get it. See. Okay, so even though this is 2 lanes and it's not, not all that great a road, it's still 75-mile-an-hour speed limit, which is okay. I'm not going to complain. I've got 127 miles to go to get this second trailer. I might as well get on down here and do it, right? Get after it. I do not like the way this is sitting today. I'm having all kinds of trouble getting it to do what I want it to do. Let's try that. Okay, so it's about 8:30. It's been almost an hour since I dropped off that trailer. And I haven't made huge progress because traffic, construction, stuff like that. So I might be past the worst of it now, hopefully. Maybe I can make some good time. I'm 120 miles away from picking up trailer number 2, is all. This is a 75-mile-an-hour road, but the actual workable speed limit's been more like 50 for the last 20 miles with all the various and sundry stuff in the way. So once we get up out of this construction zone, maybe it'll speed up a little bit. Okay, it's actually 118 miles according to my phone, which has the actual address. My GPS doesn't recognize the actual address, which is one of those things, So I have to kind of run the phone for backup. The GPS will get me close, but I have to have the phone to get me all the way in there. Unless I want to just rely on my memory, which, I can do that. I know how to get there. It's just, easier if I don't have to think about it, I guess, maybe. That's what GPS is for, right? To function as your navigational brain. If you trust it, that's the problem. I don't trust this one. I don't trust it as far as I can throw it. Not that it's wrong all the time, but it's missing so much information that it's not, I don't know. I've just got problems with it. Why are we driving 50 miles an hour up here, folks? Had several people today driving 50 miles an hour in a 75 zone. This little car up here is one of them. That's why it's taken me an hour to get, I don't know, 40 miles or 50 miles from where I started out. Let's see, how far have we come exactly? "36 miles as the crow flies." Okay, but 39 miles. So I haven't even come 40 miles yet and it's been an hour. So this is a problem. Kind of. Well, I mean, it's annoying is what it is. Not really a problem. It's just annoying as shit. So we're 103 miles away as the crow flies. No, this GPS want me to take some weird turn or something, 76 miles up here, and I don't think I need to do that. I think I need to stay on 96. I'm pretty sure. So I just have to check and double check it because it does some weird things. That may be right, maybe not. Well, trust the phone because it has the actual address in it. All right, I guess we're going to drive regular speed now for a while. Let's do it, huh? Do it to it. This is pretty wide open for East Texas. I mean, I can actually see a little bit. Trying to keep the camera level. I don't know if it's level or not. Looks better than it did, I think, maybe. Hard to say. I guess actually the way to do it is zoom it out a little bit so I can see the truck. And I can level it off the hood of the truck. Okay, that looks pretty level. I don't know, there's this stupid little icon that pops up in the bottom of this camera, and it kind of makes it difficult for me to tell. It's blocking part of my view of the hood, but I think I've got it relatively level. I'll come back out of this region on Highway 59, which is a bigger road than 96. But 96 takes me right down pretty close to where I need to be without having to fuss around too much. Get serious about this driving here. Oh, this is nice. This is a nice day in good road. Look at these, you know, you got a view here. They've cleared enough of the trees that you can kind of see what's going on. This is kind of rare in this part of Texas because East Texas is tall pine trees and lots of undergrowth and other tall trees. Not just pines, but a lot of pines. We must be getting into San Augustine. The speed is dropping. Yeah, there we go. Welcome to San Augustine, Texas. I can't remember if this is supposed to be like a really old town or what. Something about it is tickling my memory there somewhere, but I think it's something about it being an old town. Maybe an old French town, I don't know. Something like that anyway. You'll have to look it up and see what I'm talking about because I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about. $5? What? Don't think so. $3.33 for diesel there, $3.69 up here. I may not find cheap diesel in this region, but I should when I get down around Houston, I would think. I don't know. Last time I was down in this, not in this region, but in South Texas, I was down by San Antonio, and this has been a month ago, and diesel down there was $3.05. It was the cheapest I'd seen it in a long time. We've come through a few places in the last couple of days where it's been under $3 a gallon. $2.94 and $2.85 was the least I've seen it for. I actually bought some the other day in Lubbock for $2.85. Crossing 147. Guess that goes over to Lufkin. And here we go, back out on the highway. Back to highway speeds. Okay, Bronson's 14, Jasper's 46. Jasper is where I stayed one time at probably one of the worst hotels I've ever stayed in. It was so nasty. Completely disgusting. It was awful. I survived it, and so, you know. Don't know how you stay in a hotel room for 10 hours without touching anything, but I managed to do it, I think. Or I'd probably, have some hideous disease. It was that nasty. Bob Evans Equipment. Huh. That's kind of funny if you spent any time in the Midwest, where Bob Evans is like a breakfast restaurant. It was big back in the 80s. It was a big deal. There were Bob Evanses everywhere. In fact, when I go into the Midwest, I haul into the Midwest, I usually find one and stop and have breakfast just because it's good. They were famous for breakfast. It used to be so crowded you had to wait to get in there, like on a Saturday or Sunday morning. You take a number and wait. Now when I've gone in them, it's just old people like me. So they're evidently not a thing anymore. Because I haven't had to wait to get into one, and I'm usually one of 2 or 3 old folks sitting around in there having solitary breakfast. One of the few restaurants I'll go in myself and sit down and eat. I don't really like doing that. I like going to breakfast with Bill. I don't like going to breakfast with just myself. So, one of those deals. We don't really have too many good breakfast choices. We got the Dunkin' Y, which is okay, but I don't know. The atmosphere is kind of weird because it's a truck stop. And then there's another little place down in Duncan, the Daybreak Diner. It's okay, but it's kind of old and dirty. I mean, they're really super nice, but it's just kind of old and grubby. But I don't know. But we go once in a while. That, and then once in a great while when we're coming back from Bill getting his treatment every month, we stop somewhere and have lunch, usually at the Mexican restaurant up in Norman that Bill really likes. So I figure he just got the stab with a giant needle. He can eat where he wants to. I don't argue, even though it's not my favorite restaurant. It's okay. He likes it, that works for me. It's one of those deals. To be honest, I'm just glad that he's still here to go eat with me, wherever it is. I guess I'm still about an hour and a half away from picking up this second trailer. So I think I'm going to go listen to the radio a little while, and then I'll come back when I get down in the Beaumont area. All right, so I'm in Sabine County, Texas. And this is some little town we're coming into. Not sure what this is. Still on Highway 96, heading southbound. Oh, this is Bronson. Okay. Bronson, Texas. Makes me think of Then Came Bronson, which I was talking about the other day over in Arkansas. Talking about seeing them film that in True Grit. I actually pulled up a couple of episodes of Then Came Bronson, the ones that were done in Olathe. and the one that was the demolition derby scenes, something about demolition derby, and I don't know, some episode. It has demolition derby in the title of the episode. That was actually filmed up by Olathe High School in Colorado. And I know this because my mom and my older sister were extras in that demolition derby scene. I watched that last night trying to see them, but I never did see them. But they did close-ups of a few people, but not, they had like the crowd at a distance type of shots. I'm sure that's where they were at. They were probably up in the crowd in the bleachers or whatever. I think that's what they said too at the time. But it was really weird watching that and knowing that they were there. That it looks so old now. I guess it is old now because it was filmed in 1969. And I would have been all of 11 years old at the time, and I'm 65 now, so it has been a while. It is old. I'm old, If you live long enough, you will be old too. How's that for, a real stunning announcement? So there are things about getting old that they don't warn you about, and I'm not going to do it either. I'm not going to go into it because some of them are, I would just say don't worry about it. It's different for everybody, of course. But as much fun as getting old is not, in a lot of ways, it sure as hell beats the alternative, right? I don't want to die young. So I think I'm well past that point. I think I'm safe not to die young. Safe from dying young today. But there's a reason that nobody warns you about this stuff, because they don't want to discourage you. And there's no guarantee that you're going to get any one of these things, that any one of them is going to happen to you, even if you do live to be very old. But the ones that do happen to people, we don't talk about them too much because we don't want to scare the crap out of you youngsters. We don't want to take the fun out of being young. We don't want you to spend all your time worrying about it. So, we're actually doing you a favor. That's mean, right? So, still in East Texas, still in the typical East Texas scenery with the tall trees. This is really pretty this morning. I'm enjoying this drive. This is quite enjoyable. I still got 90 miles to go, so I'm still about an hour and a half almost out. So it's 9 o'clock, so 10:30 I should get there, which is about, it's a little later than I figured, but that's okay. Because we're going to be going clear down into the corner of southeast Texas, just about as far as you can go. Not quite, but pretty darn close. And then we're going to be later today going up into the very southeast corner of Oklahoma, about as far as you can go. Not quite, but almost. Should be an interesting day, anyway. Some kind of sawmill, I think, off to my right there. Piles and piles of shredded wood, looks like. Sawdust and shredded wood. The thing I'm having the most trouble with on this road is navigating the changing speed limits. I'm trying to pay attention here so I don't miss something, because they keep changing quite often. This is Pineland, Texas. Jasper's 23 miles. We're getting pretty close to Beaumont when we get to Jasper. I mean, it's within an hour and 10 minutes, I think, hour and 5 minutes. Starting to get into southeast Texas at that point. We're just kind of in east Texas right now. Kind of Midland, East Texas. Not north, not south, somewhere in between. Jimmy's home cooking. Yum, yum. So the mimosa trees are blooming like crazy. Here's one over on the right. They're really just gorgeous. Bright pink, fluffy little blooms they've got. Evidently, they were brought in here from the Middle East somehow. And now they're everywhere in the South. You can, all through the South, you'll see them. So they really like this climate. I've got 2 of them in my yard that are doing really well. They have not yet bloomed this year, at least that I've noticed. Oh, cool picnic area. Kind of rustic. That's neat. If I was going to stop and have a roadside picnic on my travels like we used to do when I was a kid, that would be a good place for it. Very, very cool. Alright, so we're back in the 70 mile an hour speed limit zone. This is not necessarily a very fast road, but it's the most direct road to where I need to go. Be how you would pronounce that, maybe, unless it's like some French thing that has a totally different pronunciation than how it's spelled, which a lot of French words are that way and do have totally different pronunciations that have very little resemblance to the, American phonetics. English phonetics don't really work with French words at all. Don't know why that is, but that's how it is. See, what kind of waterway is this? Devil's Ford Creek. My. It's a little dramatic sounding, Devil's Ford. You know, you don't really think about how people used to travel on horseback or in carts or whatever in this country, and how they managed to get across all these waterways, because some of these things are really deep and wide rivers, and you know, they either probably ferried across, or but before there were ferries, they'd either have to swim their horse across or whatever. I mean, it's just pretty scary thinking about it. I imagine a lot of people died doing that kind of thing, crossing rivers, even not such deep rivers, you know, the current and all that, but holy cow. It's like our family on my mom's side, this is McKim Creek. This is all swampy kind of bayou country down in here. When my mom's family went up into Oklahoma from Texas, they had to cross the Red River, and they had livestock that they had to drive up across. So what they did was they crossed in the winter, and when they crossed, the river was actually frozen over. It was a super cold winter. Hang on. So I don't know if the road down here continues as a 4-lane divided highway or not. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've been through here. Oh, we're in the pine tree zone. Look at that. Pine trees and banana trees. And fuel's still really expensive down here. I don't get that. I don't know why it's more expensive here than it is over in San Antonio or Lubbock or anywhere else, but it is. It's kind of annoying because I'm going to have to buy fuel before too awful long. I'll probably have to buy it coming out of Houston if I don't see it somewhere reasonable before then. But I'm not seeing anything very reasonable right now. In the 340s, that's 40 cents higher than, you know, I should be seeing it under $3 right now, I would think, judging from other places in Texas. But we have the same phenomenon. Don't come over in this lane, dude. We have the same phenomenon going on in Marlow. It's 40 or 50 cents higher there than it is in parts of Texas and or even over in Lawton. So, you know, 30 miles away, it's that much cheaper. There are some distributors or something that are still charging their gas stations too much. And the gas stations paid too much for it, so they don't want to lower their prices. They're, you know, probably pissed because they got charged so much for it. American firewood. Evidently firewood's a big thing around here. Kind of makes sense because in this country you don't really have to have a heater in your house, you know, like you would have up north where it's cold most of the year. Fireplace, you could very easily heat whatever little bit of winter you would have down here. You could probably take care of that with a fireplace and not have to have the expensive complete furnace system. Although I'm sure, you know, I'm sure most of the houses around here probably have heat and air, you know, combo, but I can kind of see why some of these little old houses that they have around here, the old style that are built up off the ground, I can see where you would just have a little wood stove in them. GPS is wanting me to take a bypass, and my phone says go on through, so I'm going to go straight on through. Well, why not? Nichols Creek. So those trees over to the right that have the white things on them, those are magnolia flowers. That was a egret, I think, that just flew in front of us. A white egret. I'm not sure what they're hauling in there, but that's kind of a similar thing they use to put cotton in, but I think that's wood chips, maybe. It's either wood chips or, yeah, I think that's wood chips. Huh. It's kind of interesting. First state trooper I've seen today. Giant chickens. If you didn't see that, they had giant chickens leaning up against their fence. Giant roosters. Game room. I think think those game rooms are like poker machines, maybe. Something like that. I've seen them in the back of gas stations, kind of in this region, across this part of the South and over into like Mississippi and maybe Louisiana. Be walking through a convenience store trying to find the bathroom, and there'll be a little hallway or a little room in the back where all these people are sitting back there playing the games, and they're gambling is what they're doing. It's totally not legal, but they do it anyway. So I think that's what that means. I think that game room is a video poker hall, maybe. We used to do the same thing up in Utah, of all places. I worked at a little bar up there, north of Manila, Utah, and they had poker machines. And technically the machines did not pay out cash, but they did pay out cash because you'd cash out with the bartender. And you could sit there and, you know, play poker, and it would run up so many tokens, and then when you were done, if you had tokens ahead, then you go, it seems like it printed out a little piece of paper or something, I don't remember. Or they'd come, I forget how it worked, I don't even remember. It's been like, I don't know, 40 years ago, so 45 years ago. It's been a long time ago, but that was also illegal, but we all did it, you know. People will find ways to do what they want to do no matter what the law says, and that's just kind of how human nature is. It's like you're getting one over on the government, you know. And the laws and rules change, and the government changes hands and all this, and goes back and forth, and makes more and more rules that more and more people just ignore and just go ahead and do what they want to do anyway. Most people, I think, follow the rules that they find useful or practical, and then the other stuff, it's like not even on your radar. It's like whatever. You know. That's kind of the problem with our kids being taught nothing useful in schools these days. They don't teach them the Constitution or their rights or anything about it. And, you know, if you want to do one thing to illustrate to your kids what America is really about, just explain to them that the Constitution of the United States does not give us rights to do anything. Our rights come from God. They are God-given rights. The Constitution restricts the government from infringing on the rights that we already have that are God-given. And once your kid understands that, maybe they won't be so likely to go along with all this you know, repression and chopping up of our rights. You know, the rights are not granted by the government. That's not how it works. Rights are inherent in being a human being. We have rights inherent, you know, from God. So, I don't know. Make sure your kids know that anyway. Because a lot of schools are teaching them just the opposite. A lot of schools are flat out indoctrinating kids in socialism and anti-American communist thinking, and it's terrible, you know. And unless you're paying attention to what they're teaching in your kids' schools, you know, you don't know. You got to keep up with that stuff. And I've said it before, I'm sure I'll say it again, because I do that. I repeat myself. If I had a kid of school age these days, I would not put them in public school. I wouldn't even put them in private school. I'd homeschool them, so I had full control over the curriculum. And I would know what my kids were learning, and it would be mom approved, or they wouldn't learn it. You know? And I'm not talking about being prudish about stuff. I'm talking about, you know, actually being taught real history, real civics, things like that. Real information, real, everyday stuff they need to know, which they're not getting taught now in public schools. What they're being taught in public school is that, oh gee, if you're a girl, you can turn yourself into a boy, and if you're a boy, you can turn yourself into a girl. That's the kind of crap they're teaching kids in school these days. So that's pretty lousy. Pretty sorry that they're doing this to children. That and telling them about sex and about some perverted sex stuff. Don't get me started. I'll try not to get myself started. But suffice it to say that if I had children, they would never set foot inside a public school in this country. Not the way things are taught now. No way. And I had a good education from the public school system back in the 1960s and 70s, or I thought I did. I didn't get indoctrinated. I was lucky enough to go when they were still actually teaching real history and civics, English, math, science, the basics, reading, writing, and arithmetic. So I feel pretty fortunate that I got a decent education. I would not get my kid within 100 miles of a public school these days. No way, no how. And it's not because the schools are inherently evil. It's because the teachers' union is inherently evil. And they've taken over. It's like the inmates are running the asylum. And I think I just missed my turn. Pretty sure I just missed my turn. Oh my gosh. It's gonna be one of these days. Or is it? No, I'm fine. It's this damn GPS. Damn this GPS. Okay, I think I'm okay. Yeah, all right, we're good. Probably could have gone through the other way. But I'm only 26 miles out now, so. All right, so I'm gonna stop this segment and start over. I am in some little town, Buna maybe? Not sure. In southeast Texas. They've got all their flags out. This is a pretty place. Very pretty. Nice little town. And I'm 26 miles away from Rose City, where I'm going to pick up my next trailer. So this is pretty cool. And my GPS and my cell phone are in agreement on my route for a change, so that's kind of reassuring a little bit. A little bit. A little reassuring. Donut Palace. Oh, I wish. Wish I could eat a donut. Not like I need it, but I wish I could. I remember what they taste like. It's like heaven on earth, but it's actually one of the worst things. I think donuts and pizza are the two absolute worst things you can eat for health-wise. Two of the most luscious, but two of the worst for you. So I've sworn off of both of them a long time ago. So it looks like I'm going to get over here about 10:30 to pick this next trailer up. I'm just playing this all by ear because this part of Texas, you can be traveling fast or you can be traveling slow, and you never know what you're going to get. So I've had a kind of a mix of both. Got slowed down a little bit by missing a turn, and then got slowed down a little bit by hitting a construction zone and having to sit and wait. But overall, it's been, you know, pretty smooth sailing. Hasn't been bad. I would like to buy fuel if I could find it cheap enough, but everything around here is too expensive. So I guess I'll hold out. I've got half a tank of fuel, so I'm going to have to buy some when I get to either into or out of Houston. Coming out of Houston probably. So I should have like 300 more miles worth of fuel is what it should be, depending on my mileage once I pick up these trailers. It depends on how big these trailers are too. I don't know. They'll probably be giant, you know, fancy trailers. That's usually what I pick up down here. But I'm hoping for just little ones. I'm hoping maybe they'll be little ones. You know, people can't afford the big fancy ones as much now, so I've been seeing a shift from hauling the great big stuff to more toward the little stuff. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. Evidently, I'm 27 minutes out, according to my phone. So I think I'll pop back in here when I get closer. So I'll see you in a bit.